Welcome to the Power Platform podcast. Today we are doing it a little bit different. We have about 115 people. Well, it'll feel like 115 people because a lot of them talk so much. So
Yeah, me and Mark are totally outnumbered on this one, which is quite a good thing. It's an interesting one. I don't know if we'll get to rule the roost of this conversation. We will probably just sit back and let the battle of marketing commence.
Yeah, so we're going to do a little bit. It's not a competitive battle. There's no winners, there's no losers. We're just giving people lots of nice ideas on how we can use dynamics marketing and how we can use ClickDimensions.
Yep.
So we kind of put out on Twitter last week, the week before, just a couple of scenarios that people wanted to get answered and find out how they would be done in each platform. So we have 3 people on. It's weird, actually. It's a video that we're doing at the moment, and we're not used to that. So yeah, there's 3 people joining us, so we'll introduce them one at a time. So talking a little bit about ClickDimensions, because that's her bag, is Emma Darcy. Everyone should recognise her voice. So Emma, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about you?
Yeah, I mean, no, lads. Just kidding. I'm Emma Darcy, tattooed CRM girl, pre-sales consultant at ClickDimensions. I know some things about some marketing things, and so I'm going to say some things today.
Cool. And then next we would, and let's introduce Dilyana or DT. I don't actually know how to say your surname, Dilyana. So you can go with that one as well when you do the whole introduction for yourself, right?
Yeah, join the club. You're not the only one who doesn't. So Dilyana Radulova. Everybody calls me Didi.
No, they don't. No, they
yes,
don't. No, they don't.
Well, they should.
I tried, but then still went back to Dilyana. So anyway.
Whatever is easier. Customer engagement consultant with Incremental Group, and I've been doing stuff with Dynamics 365 marketing. So that's what I'll be talking about today.
And we have somebody who's used both platforms and is going to be like a referee, a judge. I don't know what we'll call her. Well, we'll call her Malin.
Yeah, actually, let's go with her full name, right? Or her name, Malin.
Malin Martnes.
Martnes.
Do you want to tell everyone about you?
Yes, so I have a marketing background. So I have an education in marketing, and that was what I was supposed to do before consulting life and the rest of Dynamics came and ate me up. So I've been doing CRM and ClickDimensions since 2014, and I'm mostly known for HR, but I still do a lot of Dynamics and ClickDimensions and marketing. So I'm just about to start a blog series that's quite big on the differences on ClickDimensions and marketing.
Cool. We can come back to your own blog in a bit later, right? That's not what this is about. Calm down.
Always good for marketing.
Nah, exactly. This is
definitely
marketing. That marketing background showing off right there, isn't it? Getting right in with it about the blog and stuff. So that's cool. We can talk about that as well, obviously, going on. But from, as Mark says, we've got the kind of questions from Twitter, and we've got 5 topics we're looking to cover off today. First one being probably campaign automation.
Yep, so
do we want to get into that, or do we want to just have a chat first for 5 minutes?
No, let's get them angry at each other and shouting and bawling at each other, and then try and talk them off the ledge at the end. So we'll start, Emma, just a little bit about ClickD, how we can do some campaign automation or journey. And oh, by the way, I mean, you should be able to see this. I don't know if you can. I am wearing my ClickD socks right now.
I saw on Twitter, good man, marketing will be delighted with that. Campaign automation is basically the bread and butter of the ClickDimensions platform. We've been doing this for 10 years now, and so our platform is super easy to use, very user-friendly. It's the platform that gets the most love from our development team. So when customers have feature requests they want to add, that's usually the platform that gets the most attention. So from a usability perspective, I feel like it's very flexible. I haven't come across a situation that I couldn't really resolve using campaign automation. And it's great. You should use it.
Is that what we're going for? So what are the decent features in it? What's cool about it?
Everything. So I use campaign automation for my regular day-to-day stuff, like any event management stuff. I use it for drip marketing. It's very popularly used for. So the cool thing about it, it has multiple entry points or triggers, such as, you know, if you add a contact to a marketing list, you can kick off an automation that might send them an email, check and see if they open the email. If they open the email, notify their record owner and kind of create tasks and full lead gen management as well. It also now has some super cool new functionality, like if a field changes on a contact or lead record, you can also kick off an automation. So kind of similar to Flow in that regards, Power Automate. Sorry. It's very similar in that regard. So if you change like a field on a contact record from, you know, prospect to customer or something, it can kick off an automation that can do a whole range of things, like sending emails, sending SMS messages, checking to see if a different field has changed. Honestly, the possibilities are pretty limitless. I can't hear you, Mark.
Sorry, I can't hear myself. That's getting edited. So, is it an easy drag and drop interface? How easy is it to use? Because that's the one thing.
Super simple. Hell yeah. So we have taken some notes from some clients. It is drag and drop interface and connecting the dots. It's very intuitive to use, but one of the things we introduced recently that I am all about is the new templates. So if you are doing a subscription management campaign automation that basically says somebody opts in to receive this email, put them on this marketing list, that kind of thing, we have a full template that you can use now, so you no longer have to start from scratch, because we all know a blank page is sometimes the scariest thing in the world to deal with. So we've taken the decision to allow people to use templates, but also create their own templates too. So if you create an automation that you use in multiple locations, you can now just easily pull that down from your cloud templates, also not in dynamic storage, it's actually in our cloud. So you can pull that down from the cloud and rejig it whatever way you need to. So from that perspective, it's great. There are a bunch of different statistics as well. So when you run somebody through an automation, you can see that individual's timelines. You can see exactly what status they're at in the automation. And you also get full statistic reports as well, which is pretty cool.
Awesome.
And it is a lot better than the old campaign or nurturing. What was it called?
Yeah, nurtures.
Yep. Yeah, because I was on a client doing a whole marketing project just about the time. One week we had the nurture stream, and then the next week when we came back to do training, the campaign automation was suddenly there. So it was interesting, but it is, I love it. It's so simple to use and it just works.
I'm partial, remember.
Well, she might give the same comments after Dilyana's mentioned hers.
I haven't started hers yet.
So, Dilyana, what about Dynamics marketing? How cool is that for campaign automation, or journeys as it's known?
Yeah, so in Dynamics 365 marketing, we call them customer journeys, but I'll try to use both interchangeably. Yes, it is cool, but I think the more important thing is that it's really functional. So for example, we have, I can't remember, between 10 and 20 different templates that you can use to start with if you're not really sure how to build your customer journeys, which usually quite helps marketing people, because sometimes when we give them training, they don't really know what they want their campaign to look like. So having templates, we have seen, works quite well. Mark, you have that distracting face, that disapproval. You're not objective.
I'm listening.
Templates. We have templates. Then another thing that we have found to be quite useful is the dynamic segments that you can have as an entry point. So at the moment, you can have a few different entry points. You can start with a dynamic segment. So when people join or satisfy the criteria for that segment, only then they join the journey. Or you can start off with a marketing list, which is more static. Or another entry point you could have is a marketing form, which is quite handy as well, because it means you can get people to sign up for something and then they automatically join that journey as well. So this is from an entry point of view. Then after you have started building your campaign, I think one of the most powerful things would be the triggers. So we have quite a few different triggers. So you can send different people or customers on different branches of the journey depending on what they do. And that could be both behavior, so things they have done, or it could also be things, information we have stored against them. So that's quite handy. From an insights point of view, we have quite strong analytics. I would say we have that insights tab, which I think is kind of similar to what Emma was saying. It's a timeline, and you can see who went on your journey, what did they do to go on the journey, and just some numbers and stats of how many emails got delivered as part of that journey, if you're sending any emails, and just stats really. And on this, another quite useful feature is we have return on investment that you can also calculate. So if you are, what you can do as part of your campaign is you can create leads when people go through the journey and show some sort of interest, and then that journey or that campaign gets recorded against the lead, which means after that you can see what return on investment your campaign generated. So from just financial point of view, that's quite quite handy. Suppression segments, another good feature. We have seen that quite useful in scenarios when, so for example, we were having a customer journey to get feedback for bookings and journeys you have been on. But if you do that for work and you do that twice a day, you don't want to have that email or that survey sent twice a day. So then you join a suppression segment. So that was quite handy as well. And probably I'll pick two more because I think I can do that forever. But I'll pick two more.
We've noticed.
Yeah, so sorry, two more. So because we cannot not mention that one because that's something that came about well today actually, because it's it's part of Wave 1 2020. So we have had early visibility for a few months now, but it's to do with the way you can configure an expiration date for your emails. So this is quite handy if, for example, you are using customer journey for your event campaign. So when you invite people, and if they join later, or for example, if you want to send them a reminder to say you have 10 days before your event, and they join only 8 days beforehand, you can set an expiration day for your email so that they don't get emails that are not relevant to their journey. And last one, promise. Oh no! Two more. Can I do two more?
You can do one more, and we're actually going to change the rules or create rules. You only now have 5 minutes for each topic. How about that?
Yeah, you can't filibuster the whole thing and just actually own the whole podcast, right?
All right. Okay.
So one more.
You guys knew who you were bringing along, so you should have had the rules before we started.
Yeah, I feel it's a bit too late to change
rules are important. Come on, guys.
Okay, so my last favorite one is artificial intelligence and content settings. So artificial intelligence we can use as part of a customer journey with things like the smart scheduler. So I think that's quite cool. What that does is it uses all of the data you have for when your customer has opened emails previously, and then keeps them for as long as it needs to, and sends them the next email that you're sending them at the best time for them. So that's quite handy when you automate your campaigns on a bigger scale. And as per the new rules, I can't tell you anything about the content settings. So guys, check the documentation. There are cool things about content settings as well.
So on that AI stuff, sending it the best time for them, that's obviously like picking the time of the day, not early in the morning, not late afternoon or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's if, for example,
you get the best engagement on that email.
And all of your emails we have sent you at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, then for the smart scheduler, I can say when Ian gets to receive that email, keep him here for maximum of 2 days. So it will keep you maximum 2 days on that tile, but it will only send you the email at the optimal time for you personally. And if I open my emails at 5, it will send mine at 5 and you're at 9 in the morning.
Okay, cool. That's pretty smart.
Yeah,
Actually,
it does help with
to get
engagement
the
quite
best
a bit.
engagement. Yeah, cool.
I think that is one of the best features, because it just sets it to each person, so you can specify it, or it does it so automatically. You don't have to go in and say, okay, I want every email to be sent out at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday, because
Yes,
that's
exactly.
rules.
It's not doing that one static time of
Yep.
other campaigns where it will say, right, I'm going to send this out at 12:05 on a certain day because that's when I want to send it. It's actually basing it on individuals. That's awesome. That's actually really clever.
Yep.
I
Smart.
don't know why you're surprised, Ian.
No,
I'm not surprised. I'm just trying to highlight a slight benefit.
Yeah, it's one of the very cool features.
okay. So we'll start with. Oh God, we're going to start with you, Dilyana, this time. Emma, I mean, do you want to come back in about 25 minutes? You can go and grab your breakfast if you want.
Actually, do you mind
go
if I go
put your
get a cup of
eyebrows
tea?
on.
Grant.
Yeah, go and grab a cup of tea. So we're going to talk about email building. So using the email template builder or using the HTML editor, drag and drop, whatever it is. Do you want to just give an overview on that, how easy it is to use, if it's easy to use? Now, you can say some things are good, you can say some things are shit if they're shit. It's we're trying to give everyone a holistic overview of some nice platforms, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Holistic overview is absolutely fine. Swearing words, probably not as fine. So I'm sure I can phrase it in a better way than something.
That's fine.
they
You deliver it in
said.
your own way, in your own style. Just make it not never-ending story.
The never-ending story.
Yeah, we don't need a Treyu coming in here and like that. It's fine. Just to... Sorry.
Bring in the white dragon.
Yes!
Yes.
Okay, so email editor. This is probably one of the areas when we have seen most plot development recently, because when it started off, it wasn't probably as good as people will have expected it to have been at that point. And I think this caused quite a bit of turbulence purely because people were used to a completely different way of designing emails. So some people did feel a bit disappointed, which is a shame, because I feel if they give it a chance now, they would see the big difference, because Microsoft have been investing quite heavily.
Sorry, on you go.
No,
I was going to say, so when you say how it was first off compared to now, and people expected something different, what did they get when Dynamics Marketing went live first off? Was it the what you see, what you get HTML editor, or was it nothing like that at all?
It was really, really bad. Come on. It did. One of the reasons why I waited so long before I started, because I tried the old Dynamics Marketing module, which was horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
And when this first came out, I had a look at it and I went, nope, not touching that now. It is not good enough.
Yeah, and I think it was easier for us because at least we have more technical background. So for us, seeing an error on screen is not ideal, but it's, oh, that's an error, I'll fix it. Sometimes for marketing people, when they see an error on screen, especially if it's not very descriptive, they go like, oh, well, what have I done? Have I broken everything? So I think that's where people got a bit, I'm not sure about that. So what we have seen recently is much better error messages. So at least now they tell you what has gone wrong.
So can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
So what all I've heard you say for the last minute or two is the error handling is really good. Is that because there's lots of errors you're getting from it?
It's not that much errors, but for example, an area where you would get quite a significant amount of errors was around the dynamic content, and I feel that
you wouldn't get that in ClickDimensions though.
But
nope.
Oh,
it just wouldn't work.
That's because you probably haven't read my millions of blogs that I have written on how to create proper and correct dynamic content, Malin.
I have read all your blogs, Emma.
So I was the same, Mark. Like, you're just talking about the errors of it. Is that just because that was your experience and you're trying to highlight how poor it was in the first instance compared to now, when there's still errors, but the errors mean something more now because of the work that's been put into that? The error message is actually more related to something rather than saying error, seek the Dynamics community.
To be honest, with things like dynamic content, I don't really want to say that you would expect to see errors, but there are so many different things that need to be validated. So let's go with feedback. You expect that feedback from the validation tool before it gets sent to a customer and they see something very random because you haven't seen an error, but it also didn't tell you it was wrong. So dynamic content validation has improved massively in the email designer. And probably we should stop bashing around validation.
Yeah, I think that summarizes it quite well there. It's not an error, it's a validation. It's saying
feedback,
this part isn't valid because of this reason. And that's the point of it. I think that's a good way to summarize that, definitely.
Another point that's good, we have the HTML editor, which is the lift and shift. So if you're moving from somewhere else, you can just take your markup with you, you paste it, and then that's done.
What about pasting images into it? Does that work directly?
We have a digital asset management where you store them, but you can't paste them as such. You can't just paste them.
So you need to upload them to the new asset library and then copy the HTML in and repoint the images to the right place?
Well, it depends how you do. Yeah, so that's if you're designing it. If you're doing it with the markup and you have your images stored externally, then it would work with copy paste because it will just point to the location where your image is. And AI, so last one before you tell me I've spoken for 25 minutes. AI, love AI. My favorite AI feature around the email designer is the spam score. So what that does is it gives you a number between 0 and 100. The lower the better. The higher it is, the more likely is your email to be flagged as spam. So that's a very small handy feature as well, though.
Is that a new feature?
That's not a new feature, but that reminds me of another new feature I can tell you about.
Well, you've got 30 seconds to give us this feature.
Right, okay. Well, in 2020, wave 1, now we can have the... I can't remember what you call them. What do you call that?
Time out then, done. Okay, so Emma.
The preview.
Doodle-doo.
So Emma.
Yeah.
Building an email. How was your sleep? Did you get like 9 hours there?
It was actually not bad. Made a full cup of tea and everything. Doing grand over here. So email marketing has been ClickDimensions' bread and butter since day one. We've been doing this for 10 years now, and we know what we're at. We actually have 3 different kinds of email editors. So we go from very basic drag and drop to literally anybody can use this tool, all the way up to an HTML editor, which is very similar to what Dee just mentioned. Copy, paste, and bam, there's your email. You're good to go. But we do also have a middle ground too, which is actually super cool for somebody who's just learning how to code. So front end is like a WYSIWYG. I compare it very much to like a word editor, drag, drop, type your stuff, all that kind of stuff. Click of a button and there's your code on the back end. So if you have somebody that's more senior and needs to modify that code, you have that access. The drag and drop editor is probably where I'll focus a lot of my feature experience because it tends to be our most popular editor of all. It does have multiple content blocks that you literally just drag and drop onto the page and it displays immediately. So images, text, social sharing, line spacers. We now have video as well, which is a really cool new addition. And also just the ability to be able to modify those sections as well with a click of the button. Like we can set it to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4 column layout, being able to duplicate blocks as well. One of the things that I found very helpful for the events I have been marketing recently is the corporate styles option. So I load in whatever colors the event I'm marketing has, and then I start up a template, and those colors, font styles, typography, everything's already loaded for me and ready to go. So it means that creating emails when I get a text from Mark at 5 p.m. in the evening saying you need to send this email today, I can just load up an email template, everything's go, and I just paste in my content, pop in an image, and 2 minutes later we've got an email out to our 1,100 attendees that we had, which was great. Just throwing that in there.
I was going to put a bit more of a positive spin on that rather than you dissing us for asking you to do something such bizarre times. But yeah, to be fair, you did do it for us, and yeah,
usually,
apologies. But thanks.
Honest, It wasn't 5 p.m. It was usually like 3 a.m. Was it not?
I know, it was. I mean, yeah, I think I learned a lot of things that I'm going to take to the next couple of events that I'm going to be marketing for. So that's pretty cool. I do want to talk a little bit about dynamic content because that is my area of expertise at ClickDimensions. I'm an SME in free marker content. And so we've actually made some significant strides as well. Originally, you could just pull content from the contact lead account or email send or owner fields using our tool, but our tool is actually now improved to be able to add conditional logic in with a click of the button and no longer need to actually write out that code as well. Other ways we also excel when it comes to dynamic content is the fact that because we're built on this CDS and you can use Power Automate with us, you can now actually create connections to the email send record and use FreeMarker to pull in data from literally any single record in Dynamics, which is incredibly powerful. So now you can use ClickDimensions to send out emails with line items from an opportunity, or more recently, what I tend to do is I'll send an email with a link with a list of all events that you are currently registered for and details for all of those events as well, which is really, really cool. Things that we have updated recently is the library that Dynamics for Marketing also has. Is we also have a library too, but we've now updated it so that it's no longer accessible just within the image within the email template. You can actually now access it within Dynamics itself as well. So if you have somebody that manages content, they don't have to open an editor anymore and go in and modify the images. They can just access that straight from Dynamics, which is really, really cool. Other things that I like about the editor, we do have Spam Assassin. We've had Spam Assassin since forever. So, you know, again, AI functionality. You kind of get a score between 1 and I think it's like 20 or something. But the cool thing is it actually tells you why it's giving you that score. So it's like, hey, you've got too much text to image ratio. We're going to score you like a 2. You can then go, hey, okay, cool, I need to modify this. Another thing that I really like as well is the ability to preview your dynamic content. So what you can do is you can load up your preview, say, I want to know what this email looks like if I send it to Mark. Pop in Mark's name, and it will actually display exactly as though Mark is going to get that email. So back in my day...
That's quite new, isn't it?
Yep. Yep, brand new.
Thank you.
In my day, yeah, absolutely. I'm telling you now, it's great. Back in my day, I used to have to like make a separate marketing list of people that I want to test against and send a test email before I would see the dynamic content. But now, bam, like that, I can see exactly what it's going to display. So a couple of really, really cool things that I really enjoy about our editors.
And you also have the how does this email look in the different kind of email
devices?
Yes, we are integrated with email on Acid as well. So you do get a set number of inbox previews, so you can run your email and see exactly what your email will look like on over 50 different email clients. So pretty neat.
That's always a great one because it just shows, okay, with this old Gmail, how does it look? With the new Outlook, how does it look? And it works.
Yep. And I know we've said some things that, you know, marketing for Dynamics could do better. So in my opinion, one of the things that we could do better is maybe allowing the emails to be a little bit more mobile friendly. So designing for mobile first would be a really great addition. Our developer team are currently working on a really super secret awesome project right now. So they're not able to take a lot of feedback. But once that project is over, which we're expecting it to be done pretty soon, I'm really optimistic that we're going to focus heavily on more mobile friendly features.
So does both ClickD and Dynamics Marketing have split A/B testing as well?
We do, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's also a new feature in Dynamics Marketing, A/B testing. So it was lacking for a long time. It became this fall, didn't it, Didi?
Yeah, it's not been there since day one. So it didn't come today. It was the one before. So the last update last year. Well, again, I'm still yet to see a marketing person actually using it, but people always ask about it. So yes.
I have heavy marketers that use it. Yeah.
People always ask about it, but they never seem to use it.
I have a really prolific client based out of Ireland that actually uses it really well, and they tend to test it against multiple different things. So they did a campaign last time I worked with them where they would test against the different types of images and different types of colors in their images and see which colors actually resonated better with people, which is freaking awesome. I think it's really neat.
Yeah, it is. It's quite good.
So, event management.
Hold on, before we move on to event management, I have a slight curveball question. We spoke about spam scoring. What about whitelisting and blacklisting of emails? Not necessarily email building, but the email addresses. And I know what ClickD can do with it, with a whitelist, blacklist, and it's got all that, and it'll give you that in the report. I believe you want to talk a little bit about that, Emma, and the same DD. I don't know what the offer on Dynamics marketing is around that. I don't know.
Does that come under Subscription Center?
Kind of not really.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where it really fits, hence why I'm asking to hear more in the email building stage, because I don't know quite where it fits in what we've got set out.
Sure. So from a whitelist, blacklist perspective, I do want to point out we do actually have a dedicated deliverability team, which are amazing. They basically monitor all of the major blacklist IPs and make sure that our IPs don't show up on those. So that's really cool. I mean, we are a bulk email service, so occasionally our IP's address will show up on those lists, and our team work really hard to get them delisted ASAP. But we also have a 3-strike policy. So if we have the same customer constantly getting us blacklisted, they will have to deal with the wrath of our deliverability team. And I tell you now, they are scary. I don't want to have to deal with them. So we take that stuff very, very seriously. We do also give you a full report of who's had a hard bounce, right? So their email address was invalid or a DNS failure, etc. But we also manage soft bounces too. So we will not email somebody that has had 3 soft bounces in a rolling 90-day period. But we also do allow you to unlist those people to yourself. So if you have somebody that appears on a list, turns out their mailbox was just full, they were on vacation for 3 months, or in quarantine for 3 months, whatever, you do have the ability to take them off that list too, which is really cool.
Sure.
Oh, we do also have a really neat integration with Data 8. Shout out to Data 8. So they actually will do some validation on the front end for us too. So that's another thing we do have.
Yes, they've got a whole different product for that as well, but that's something else we'll talk about at a later point, maybe in another podcast. But Didi, what about Dynamics marketing?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of similar. So far, Microsoft is handling most of those things for you. So if you're doing things right, you usually don't have to deal with any of it. Sometimes if, for example, and we have never had a customer doing it, I have only seen documentation about it, but they say that if you, for example, you don't warm up your campaign and you just send a massive blast to loads of people in one go, then the Microsoft, because that would affect your rating because it might be perceived as spam, then the Microsoft team would get in touch and would give you best practice and advice how not to do that. But we've never had anybody who has got that yet. Soft bounces, we have kind of similar rules, so it's not 3 strikes for us, but it's not even soft bounce. Sorry, if you got a hard bounce, then Dynamics marketing will not even attempt to send an email to that email address for, I think it's 3 months. It might be 6, but I think it's 3. And yeah, I don't know if it falls under this, but you also get the chance to authenticate your domain. So if you do that, then that means that just helps your score.
The MX record and stuff like that, so you can register the domain.
Yeah,
so
but
your list look like it's spam. Cool.
Once you authenticate it, you normally don't have to do much more because it's just handled for you.
Yeah, cool. So it's got an offer that handles it in a similar sort of ilk as the hard and soft bounces, different reports and different criteria around it. Cool, that's fine.
One thing that's on the roadmap and it's not in at the moment is, so for example, somebody, and no offense to people in Russia, but somebody was asking if they wanted to not send anything to people in Russia, let's say, or because from Insight's point of view, you can see if your website was visited from people across the world and you want to take people in Russia and Russian IP addresses out of those stats. At the moment, you can't do that yourself, but you can contact Microsoft and they can say they can exclude IP addresses in different countries for you. And they were saying it's in the roadmap.
So doing some geo-locking and stuff like that.
Yeah, to be self-service so that you can do it yourself. But at the moment, you can't do it yourself. You have to talk to them.
Or build really smart segments that exclude that country.
Yeah, but then that's still not going to help. They're still going to show up in what people from Russia visited your website, which is the bit that they specifically wanted to exclude.
So it's just meeting the requirements of the customer then, yeah. But you're right, Mark, if you were doing it as a campaign going out, that was one way to do it rather than logging the data. But anyway, sideline conversation really again, isn't it?
So bonus points on that round go to. No, we're not giving points, we're not scoring anything.
Yeah, we're not doing any spam
it's
scoring.
It's quite a big difference in how you do it because you are more allowed to do things for yourself with ClickDimensions. And it is handled for you with Microsoft. So that's
a valid point, yeah.
So would you say if you're more an advanced marketer, there's more options within ClickDimension to customize it yourself?
No, it depends. It depends, as it always does.
One of those answers. Bearing in mind, regardless what answer you give, you're not going to get a pair of ClickDimension socks because there's none left, apparently.
If you say nice things about us, I can probably sort you out a pair of socks.
Oh.
I don't want some that have been washed, right? I don't want you to be going to stealing marked and washing them.
No, somebody actually offered me a pair of worn socks.
There's an eBay market for that.
I was going to say, I'm sure there's an online market for that, right? I'm sure we can find you a marketing list.
Please cut this out of the podcast.
So, one of the things I looked at when I started playing about is, where am I going with this? Yeah, when we started off the Scottish Summit, we had a look at what platforms within marketing would be best to run the marketing side of the event and manage the ticketing and back and forward. So that's a huge area that people, I don't always think, look at a marketing product for. Mm-hmm. Event management for me is a huge thing. So Emma, do you want to go first on ClickD and event management and how well it worked for Scottish Summit?
Yeah, so event management has kind of become my area. It's what I do now. So obviously we use ClickDimensions to market Scottish Summit and also manage a lot of the logistics as well, which is pretty cool. So the cool thing about ClickDimensions is that we integrate with multiple different event management platforms such as Eventbrite and GoToWebinar and Cvent if you use Cvent. So it will automatically bring in all of your events for you. So we did that with Scottish Summit. We tied it into Eventbrite and it brought in all of our registrations for us. From there, we were able to use campaign automation to issue out reminder emails and just kind of run a couple of social campaigns and also teach people about the different events that were coming up pre-Scottish Summit, which was really neat. And so we were able to use ClickDimensions for a full range of logistical management too. So we also used it to create forms to manage our speakers. So we were able to import all of our speakers from Sessionize using the ClickDimensions import tool, create them all in Dynamics, and then start to send out our speakers some emails asking them to fill out forms so that we could then keep an eye on what shirt sizes they needed, if they needed a hotel for that night, and we also had a full dashboard that also showed you all of the stats in real time too. So from a event management perspective, I think ClickDimensions is extremely flexible in that you can either not use an event management tool itself, you can create it yourself, which is what I've done in the past, or you can use one of the built-in connectors itself. So I am a big fan of using it for that perspective. But in my opinion, I think marketing for Dynamics might have a different kind of set of criteria if you're going to be doing events. I definitely want to hear Dee Dee's opinion on that too.
Yeah, they are for me as like a high level. They are almost two separate products.
I would agree. Yep.
So now Dilyana's probably going to talk about this, but for me, ClickDimensions is about assisting with the event, whereas Dynamics Marketing is more about running the event, everything from signing up on portals with integration right the way through. But I've just stolen half of Dilyana's spiel, so I'll let her talk about it.
Yeah, well, there are many good things to be said about Dynamics 365 marketing, event management, and especially, so again, today, today there are more good things to be said about it, purely because that was one of the big focuses in Wave 1 2020. It wasn't as flexible, but again, that's one of the areas as well with the email designer that we've seen a lot of improvement. Probably the biggest one is, so now to register for an event, what you can do is you can sign up with a marketing form. Before, it used to be a set portal where you get a few out-of-the-box fields, and then that was it. But now they have extended the API. So when you get people to register, the form that they use to register is a marketing form, so you can drag and drop that. You can add as many fields as you want, and that's flexible. So I think this was quite a big change that came about in this release. And yeah, so I think from logistics point of view, it does handle guest management, it has speaker management, sponsors, you can add pictures to those as well. And all you do is you configure it within the application and then it propagates to your portal. So that gets designed for you. So you don't need any coding experience, which I think from a marketing person is quite important. Another strong point I feel is the templates. So what you can do is you can configure your event once and you save the template, and then you can use that for your future events. And that kind of ties in nicely to recurring events, because what you can do is you can set up a recurring event and then it creates an instance of that event whenever the next instance is. We have some room management as well, where you get a nice calendar view of what rooms your event is happening in. And we have a nice calendar view of the agendas, a session and agenda as well. So from organizing the event point of view, I think that's quite important. We have some cool things around passes as well. So from a dynamic marketing point of view, we have two different flavors of events. We have an event where you define a pass, so then you guide your guests what session tracks you want them to go on, or you can get them to cherry pick, so that what they get is a session card and then they can pick what sessions they want to go on. So that's pretty handy. Probably, as from what Emma was saying, probably webinars is where ClickDimensions might have a bit more hook points, because it's at the moment out of the box marketing only has an integration with one webinar provider, ON24.
That was definitely one of the things I wanted to ask you, was because ClickDimensions very much is of the opinion that we're not going to reinvent the wheel. There's so many event tools out there that are already excellent. We may as well just integrate with them. So we integrate with like GoToWebinar and Eventbrite, of course. Are there any plans for marketing for Dynamics to integrate with more popular webinar-based platforms?
So I don't want to speak for them. I don't think they were to start. So that's my opinion, but I don't think they were to start with. But I think because people have been asking quite a bit for different webinar providers, so I think it might be coming. But I don't think it was the immediate plan to start with. But other people,
Gotcha.
so you can do it even now. You can have some customizations and integrate with it. So it's not impossible. It's just not out of the box.
I guess another question that I have is that I feel like if you are a heavy event management company, why would you opt to go for Marketing for Dynamics over a platform that's already very much an event management tool?
So, for example, a customer
if you're not English, for example, because Eventbrite doesn't do Norwegian. So for any Norwegian customer, it wouldn't be a possibility to use Eventbrite.
But is it fair to say that a lot of y'all in Norway speak pretty good English?
Yeah, we do, but we still want our content to be out in Norwegian.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Very fair.
So, yeah.
You should know this yourself, Em. It doesn't matter where you are. You still want to be proud of your nation and where you're from.
Absolutely.
You don't want to have anything like. So
absolutely.
You have a national language. We have a national language. I mean, me and Mark are ridiculous. We don't speak our national language. Well, we speak English, right?
Yeah, nobody understands.
I speak some Irish. I've got some Gaeilge.
There you go. So like I can say some abusive words in kind of Gaelic as well, right? But probably not podcast. Well, yeah, I won't bother.
Nobody would know what it would mean. That's the highlight of it. Oh, yeah, good man.
Pogue my hone.
But yeah, I'm definitely of the opinion that I think Marketing for Dynamics has a really strong event management capability tool, but particularly more so for in-person events, for like these larger conferences, etc. From a ClickDimensions perspective, we're very much a small to medium business enterprise platform. You know, we're not targeting these larger customers that are doing these huge events. We're targeting, you know, people that have small to medium-sized businesses that are running webinars. That tends to be the most common client that I deal with, is people that run a lot of webinars or minor trade shows or anything like that. So I do want to ask, obviously I've got some experience with event marketing or event management marketing, and I've done that with a couple of different clients now. Do you have any examples of clients that you've worked with, maybe even just like from an industry perspective, that have used this event management capability tool? Because I think it's cool. I just haven't seen anybody use it yet.
I've actually worked as an event management, and 8 years ago we created our own event management system based on Episerver because there weren't any good ones in the Dynamics sphere, because we had Dynamics CRM, as it actually was called back then in 2011. We built it ourselves, and I see a lot of the features that we built out are now in Dynamics Marketing, where you could say, okay, what kind of speakers do you have? What rooms do you have? The equipment, and just the entire layout of the conference. So in my opinion, that is one of the best features and one of the best reasons to go to Dynamics. If you have,
so we've demoed it and customers like it. I mean, the feedback from the customers is really good, and it's very positive, but we've not had anyone pull the trigger on it yet, have we?
Well, no, but so what's really exciting, and it's probably going to be decided within the next few weeks, this week or next week, there is a big customer that is talking to us just now, and at the moment they're using a completely custom event management solution. So it's something they have built, and they don't like it. It's difficult to use. So we had a 10-day discovery phase workshop where we mapped how what they have now could translate into out-of-the-box marketing, and it was so encouraging to see how many parallels there were. So I think if that goes ahead, I'll definitely give you a shout, because it's going to be really exciting to map existing event management, custom event management to out-of-the-box Dynamics marketing. And they specifically were thinking about integrating with Event Tribe.
I want to see some.
Sorry?
Oh, no, go ahead. So I'm listening. Oh, that's me. Never mind. My connection's going funny.
So we did advise them not to integrate with Event Tribe, because they have a finance system as it is, so it will just make more difficult the passing of financial information for back and forth. So we want all of the information to come from one place.
So that's one of the things that I find quite cool, is you can actually integrate with payment vendors for the events. So the portal for me is like the coolest part of it. So you can have a portal that has registrations, that you can look at your schedule, you can sign in, you can opt in, opt out of stuff. But that is the thing I like.
Yeah, and what we're going to do if we go ahead with them is we're going, depending on who you are and what role you log in with, you're going to see different events, and the passes you see are going to have different prices associated with them. So I think that's going to push marketing to its limit, but it's going to be so exciting.
So does that work with Power Apps portals?
So
No.
I don't know how to answer that one without getting myself in trouble.
That's why I'm shutting up, Mark.
That's why I asked the question.
That's maybe one to keep an eye out on the roadmap for.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
probably the best way to answer that one, I think, without getting in trouble.
Yep.
I think the one point that I didn't speak about earlier is security. Because so from Dynamics marketing point of view, what you can do is when you get people to register, and I think that's a nice introduction to your next question, which might be to do with licensing. But Dynamics marketing is based on the marketing contacts that you engage in marketing activities. So what you can do from a security point of view is you can add a CAPTCHA to your form where you get people to register for your event, because what you don't want to do is you don't want somebody to write a script and register loads of contacts and use all of your marketing quota for that. So from a security point of view, we have that as well.
Cool. So that will lead us on to not licensing, because you're trying to steal the podcast and steal our thunder. That is going to lead us on to subscription management. That's quite a big thing when we're talking GDPR, we're talking opt-in, opt-out, contact details. So,
yep.
Emma, do you want to go first?
Yeah, subscription management is such a hefty topic in general. So one of the things I actually am very proud of ClickDimensions for is the fact that we do have that full deliverability team and that privacy and security team. And so when GDPR rolled around, we actually built out a full solution to manage GDPR, which was freaking awesome. I was really proud of them. So we actually have two different methods of subscription management because we have such a large global client base. We have obviously a huge presence in the US, and our EMEA presence is huge and also growing. So for the clients in Europe, I generally recommend what's called the opt-in method. And the opt-in method is basically what it says. It's going to be, unless you have given us explicit permission to receive these emails from us on this very specific topic, we will not send you an email unless it's a transactional email and you designate your email as transactional. That functionality alone actually changed the ballgame for a lot of my clients. Being able to send transactional emails was huge. While we are primarily a marketing company at heart, of course, oh Lord, we're when Ian turns himself into a potato, I'm not able to take myself seriously anymore. I have no idea, Ian. So when you have that opt-in capability, it means that you are very much going to be abiding by those GDPR laws by maintaining a list of who has opted in, what they've opted in for, how they opted in, when they opted in, etc. So it maintains that massive list that you might get audited for by the GDPR gods. The other side of it is our US counterparts, who, as we all know, are pretty email happy. They don't really care about your rights. We're just going to send you an email, whether you like it or not. That sounded a bit extreme, but it's not far from the truth. The only time we will not send you an email on the opt-out method is unless you have given us explicit authorization to not send you an email. So for our US counterparts, that's really nice. From a functionality perspective, it's pretty cool because we do allow you to either build out this full subscription model center, which allows your clientele to either opt in or opt out of certain topics. And of course, we then tie that into campaign automation, which allows you to manage all of your marketing lists as well. Because we all know the key to marketing is a clean marketing list and ensuring that the people who get your emails actually want your emails and don't unsubscribe, which is an awful nightmare altogether. So we also have obviously full global unsubscribe management too. So if you are just like, I'm done with these emails, I just want to globally unsubscribe, you've got that one-click option as well. So subscription management is very much at the core of what we do. It's very, very important to us as a company. We value our sender reputation more than anything because without our sender reputation, our clients suffer and of course, therefore our business suffers. So we take subscription management extremely seriously.
So I had a scenario come up about subscription management the other day, and it was the whole, can somebody opt out of everything from one form? So
yep.
On subscription management, does it say opt out from this email or opt out from all?
Correct, you can have both.
Okay.
It's a choice
Dilyana.
to have both, isn't it?
Say again?
It's a choice to have both, or do you automatically show both?
It's a choice.
Yep.
And the reason we do that is because on the US side, if you want to maintain a list, let's say somebody globally opts out and you still want to maintain the ability to send transactional emails, it's important that you implement subscription management and maintain a marketing list that people cannot unsubscribe for and just use that for your transactional emails.
Cool.
So Dilyana, can you do that same opting out for single email or global email within Dynamics Marketing?
I think the only thing that confuses me in the way you phrase the question is opt-in for a single email, because that scenario doesn't.
Right, so if I have signed up to a marketing list to receive emails about St Johnstone Football Club.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to phrase the question.
Okay. So if I sign up to St Johnstone, but I then get emails for the Scottish Football League and every team in it, can I unsubscribe from every other team or all emails at once?
Yes, so you have, if the system is built properly, yes, because what's best practice on subscription centers is first, you should always get people to sign up or opt in to any communication that you're going to send them themselves. So to do that, we put a marketing form on the form, which can have different marketing lists for all of your different interests. So this could be St. Johnstone's Club or whatever different clubs you want to hear more about. So that's them giving consent. At this point, marketing also gives you the option to give consent. Ian has changed again. they can give 5 different levels of consent, and it's up to the business to decide how they want to use those 5 and what each one of the 5 means. But you can have different levels of consent. At this point, you have given consent. Then the next step from a Dynamics marketing point of view is every email you send them needs to have an unsubscribe link, because that's just GDPR requirement to comply with. When they click that link, then you have the option to decide what you want them to see. Best practice is always, so you always need to have "don't email me ever again" flag as a legal requirement. So this answers your question, can they unsubscribe from everything so that you never can speak to them ever again? Yes, but what you can also do is you can add a checkbox or a radio button for all of the marketing lists they are subscribed to. So that gives them the option to decide what do they want to hear more about and what they don't want to hear anything about. We can also add different fields on that subscription center which are pre-populated with the details we have about them. So that could be postcode, address, date of birth, just to make sure that those details haven't changed. So that's how we keep details up to date as well. I think the question that came on Twitter the other day was to do with GDPR and transactional versus marketing emails. So that's something we can do as well, because this is respected more mainly for marketing emails. Transactional emails are kind of different and managed by a different flag in the system. And probably the last thing to mention, because it's something new that came about today, again as part of Wave 1 2020, is the GDPR consent tracking. So yeah, now you get a neat out-of-the-box mechanism to see how they changed consent and track that and audit that.
That's cool. It is a big thing, especially with some of the customers that we're speaking to. It's about the right people opting into the right emails and having the ability to get out of them with one click rather than having to do it for every single one.
Yeah, and it's definitely good. What we have seen to be quite good is how you can integrate that as part of a customer journey as well. So you can only send people with a specific consent level on different customer journeys, or send them on a customer journey based on their consent level.
Yes, it's got consent management as well then, which is cool. That's a good thing.
And I mean, I guess it's also important that it's an easy process for the end user at the same time. You know, that's one of the GDPR requirements, is that you don't have to jump through 2,000 hoops just to unsubscribe from a particular topic. So yeah, I do definitely enjoy the fact that we've got that option with ClickDimensions too.
Yeah, but it's also important to have both options, so that if you only have customers in the US, then you don't have to worry about GDPR and you can just take the easy way.
Unless they're in California. And that's a whole other ballgame, of course, because it's California.
And then Germany as well. There's so many places that have their own different GDPR. Like Germany and Spain have got their own ones as well. That things are a whole different kettle of fish. Like the German one.
Generally, as long as you're kind of doing permissions-based marketing, which is what ClickDimensions is basically, founded on, we don't allow you to use purchase lists, or we don't allow you to do any of that kind of stuff either. So as long as you're using permissions-based marketing, you're pretty much covered. And I mean, if you follow GDPR law, you're pretty much, that's the pinnacle. That's going to be the ultimate in restrictive privacy policy requirements. So I think once you follow GDPR requirements, you should be good regardless.
Cool. So we did say 5 questions, but we're actually going to add a little bonus one in here.
Bonus question.
Bonus round for double points. So,
are you skipping costs, licensing?
No, we're going to leave licensing until the very, very end.
Why would you do that?
Because
that's the juicy topic.
It's the juicy topic. It's the one we're going to keep hanging out there for people.
Exactly. Everyone wants to know about the licensing and the cost, so you leave that to the end so everyone has to listen to the whole podcast. Mm-hmm. So the bonus question is about kind of analysis and the analytics behind email sends, bounces, because there's a lot of different things using AI or using reports, dashboards, Power BI. Dilyana, what's the reporting behind bounced emails and sends and what's been opened, what's been
Well,
clicked, what's not
I'm
been
very
clicked.
I'm very glad you asked, because that's something people have been asking for ages, and there was something that was difficult to do, and after today it's not difficult to do anymore. So people
So
seem to
until
really
today, what did people get?
people like their Excel files, and I don't really know
People
why.
like Excel files.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Using
but-
Dynamics Market and CRM, people like Excel files.
Yeah, but you still work with people. Your customers are going to be people, and inevitably.
Just let that sit for a minute. Just let that sit and land, because that doesn't make sense.
Also, I'm not saying I like it or not. I'm just saying we have to work with it because our customers are people. So, yeah. Okay. So, from what you can see in CRM point of view, that has always been quite good. You could always see analytics and insights based on anything and everything. So you can see analytics from a customer point of view. You have the timeline of what has happened. You can see analytics and reporting from event point of view, customer journey point of view, from anything basically. What was the struggle previously was exporting this to an Excel, probably because Microsoft was the same year and they didn't think people would really need that. But people did need that. There was a lot of conversation around it. So what they introduced today was that functionality to export all of your insights to Excel and CSV. So that's something that's coming. And
Well, I have a bee in my bonnet about that. That should be user adoption. We should be moving away from Excel for data, because as soon as you export that, is no longer valid.
I think
That's a
it's
snap time of data. That's
I
not
think
a
it's
report in any
to
way
do a
whatsoever.
lot with sharing with other people.
Power BI.
So are they doing that to get around licenses then? So they don't have to license people to look at that data?
No, because people are used to working in Excel and they know Excel and they love Excel.
Yeah, but
They
Excel,
do,
when
and I
the
don't
data
disagree with
is
that
formed-
comment. They do, but this is the biggest thing. That from a
But if you have your 50 biggest clients asking about, can I please do Excel exporting, then you say, yes, dear customer, of course you can do that.
Yeah.
And you
supply and
just fix
demand.
it.
I would agree.
You
I
have
mean,
to
it's
give
a
it. Like,
basic.
I agree. The same in ClickD, you can do the export and you can export that data and get it into an Excel file. But it's just a bugbear of mine. One of the things that I try and do with a user adoption piece of anything in CRM is get people off of Excel, because it's not valid current data. It's valid at the point you take it out. 10 seconds later, that's no longer the valid information because there's been a change. And
I think Microsoft really tried really hard to not have to do that functionality, because at first you could only see it in Dynamics Marketing. People were a bit unhappy. Then they added a link to a hook point to Power BI, and at first it was unsupported because they wanted to encourage people to do it within marketing. With the next release, it got supported. And then
as
people
Malin
kept
said,
on
it's-
complaining. So they
as
started
Malin
to
says in that one, they have to give what people want at the end of the day when it's such a big product. If that's a showstopper for them, then it has to be delivered right.
I think
And
we
that's
have
it.
to be mindful of the people using it, because I think marketing people are a bit more creative, and that's they should be,
Yes.
because they need to have that creative spark about them. So if they want to use Excel, who are we to tell them not to?
See, I would still argue the other way. If they're creative, it means they're using IT platforms all the time. They should be technically savvy. So why are you taking it out into 1978 Excel to play about with your data? Why don't you learn the
A
product?
numeracy
properly?
package.
Yes.
A
It's like,
numeracy package.
honestly, I mean, Power BI is there. Utilize Power BI. I mean, all the data sits within the common data service. It's
To
all
be
there.
fair, we're dissing on this at the moment, but we don't really know what ClickD does. And I know that ClickD, you can still export to Excel.
Yep,
So
absolutely. I mean,
it is still
it's a
there, right? So
core-
the argument's valid for both to some
Yeah, I
extent,
mean,
what we're talking about.
It's a core functionality of Dynamics customer engagement, CRM, whatever it's called now. It's always been able to export to Excel. So why would we not let you export to Excel? It makes sense. So do I get to say my spiel? Do I? Very excited. about
Sorry,
this.
Didi. I just was trying to say that we don't want to diss on this product too much, because the same thing is valid for the whole suite, as
How
Emma
does it
just said,
exist
right?
though when it's additional functionality? That I mean, you don't have to do it in Excel, but if you do it in Excel, here you go. You might as well. Like, why would we force them to do something they don't want to do? You know?
Yeah, true. Sorry. So Didi, back to yourself, and you can finish up before we come back to Emma.
Oh no, I think it's fine. Emma can go ahead. I
You
think.
done? Cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So wait, I didn't hear anything, and I might have been sleeping at that point, about like email bounces and opens and closes. How easy is that to report on, like per campaign or per journey and things like that?
Especially if you're happy with just looking at that information on screen, it's super easy because you have an insights form or tab against every marketing thing. You get it for contacts, you get it for customer journey, you get it from the perspective of the particular email, which is what campaigns it has been on. You get a deliverability rate, which is all of your bounces, soft bounces, hard bounces. So you get all sorts of reports and numbers and stats.
Awesome. Right. Emma.
Y'all ready for this? I don't know
Yep.
if you're ready for this. All right. So, what is the point of a marketing platform if it doesn't have decent analytics, right? Like, isn't that the whole point of marketing, is to figure out what your analytics and how your audience or engagement with your platform, okay? So from a ClickDimensions perspective, we definitely have all of that and so much more that I'm very excited to actually get a chance to talk about today. Of course, we have the buy bulk email statistics, your open rates, your unique open rates, your click-throughs, etc., all that good stuff. By the way, fun fact, our interaction rate for the Scottish Summit was actually at 42% when the industry average is only 18%. Just saying. Could it be ClickDimensions? Could it have been the marketer? Who knows? But both combined, clearly a great combination.
Could it have been the content? Could it have been the people who are giving you the information to put in the emails?
But that too. But also, if you look at the fact that our audience actually wanted this information, it obviously increased their interaction rate. So therefore, it goes to speak to you should only really send your content to people that actually want your content. Right? You listen to me, Wayfair, stop sending me 30 emails a damn day. I don't want any more cat beds. I'm good.
You don't want to be that cat lady, right?
I don't.
Emma, in 6 months, you're probably going to need those cat beds.
Honestly, very likely. The rate I'm going with the number of cats in this apartment, probably. So yeah, you need to have your statistics from not only just a bulk email perspective, but you also need to have them from a campaign perspective. So you obviously get that data within campaign automation as well. Of course, being on the CDS, as y'all mentioned earlier, does mean that you can push that data to Power BI, which makes everything so much more powerful. One of the things that ClickDimensions actually has done recently that I'm very, very excited for, and it's about to come into general release, is our intelligent dashboard platform that we acquired. And basically what that means is that you will be able to pull your data into our intelligent dashboard product from multiple different data sources, not just from ClickDimensions, but from multiple different data sources within Dynamics. I think Salesforce is a connector in there too. There's multiple different places you can pull that data from, and then you can, what is the word? They have like a word for like making it all magic-y and clean and stuff. But they do the thing and they make it all magically and clean and they pop it out to, I think it's 17 different dashboards that we have now. I'd have to double check our numbers, but there are multiple different KPIs straight out of the box. And the really cool thing about this new platform is that it actually tells you why the data is important. So why is your click rate important? Or why is your interaction rate important? And where does this data actually come from? And what can you actually do with it? So not only that will we show you all of that data, but we actually also have the ability to now push that out to Power BI. So if you are also using Power BI, we'll take all that data, we'll make it all magic and pretty and clean, and then you can also export that out to Power BI for later analytics. So I think from the analytics perspective, we pretty much have a good game going.
Awesome. I mean, that's one thing that we found really easy. Even myself and Ian could navigate quite quickly through, look at who had claimed not to have had 6 emails and hadn't opened those 6 emails.
Yeah,
that was actually great. Really good. Like, no, I know that you opened the email and you clicked on this part at this time. Oh yeah,
it was delivered at exactly this time. It was clicked on at exactly this time. You actually opened it 7 times and clicked on the link 20 times. I don't know what you were trying to do, but you still didn't fill out the damn form. So what are you at? Yes. So you do get all of that data. It's really, really granular. It's nice.
But as you both say, analytics when it comes to marketing is super important, and you should, no matter what, have Power BI. Just to make sure you have the best of everything. So be sure to use those analytics and create good emails or better emails.
Yep.
Okay, so we move on to the big question. License costs.
This is my favorite.
So I'm going to ask
your favorite topic.
You are sadistic, Darcy.
Well, from a ClickDimensions perspective, it's pretty easy.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask, and I think I know the answer already. Are the subscription models similar in any way?
No.
Very different.
Okay. Do you want to go first then, Emma?
Yeah, I'd love to. So just a quick shout out in the fact that we price our pricing model is based on consumption. So the more emails to send, the more we're going to charge you. And there is like a base price that we charge. I don't know what that base price is. I probably should know, but I'm sure it's on the website somewhere. I can probably pull it up. But that's great because we're going to only charge you for what you use. So if you're only using like 200,000 emails a year, that's what you're going to get charged for, which is really nice. One of the cool things that we've actually done as of this last month is we've also given a lot of our clients 25,000 free emails to help with the current pandemic that's going on, because email consumption is like a huge thing right now and being able to communicate. So I think that was a pretty awesome thing that we did. 25,000 free emails for all of our clients to get their messaging out there. So yeah, we're based on purely consumption rates. We do not charge based on contacts or there's any additional licenses fees. Obviously, you do need to have a base Dynamics license with sales installed in order to use ClickDimensions, because we do rely on a lot of those entities. So yeah, pretty straightforward. We do have additional products like social engagement and of course intelligent dashboards when that does come out into general release, and there are some basic additional costs for that too that we also have. But yeah, I can see Ian did pull up our pricing. That looks correct to me based on the amount that I know about what we charge. Yeah, so there's a base model.
But the base model, then you don't get the campaign management and you're missing out. So you should always do the business for $6.99.
Yeah, unless you're like a little mom and pop store that for some reason is using Dynamics and you just want to send out a couple emails. Base is probably great, but honestly, you're going to get the most bang for your buck with the business model, which is $6.99 a month at the start.
Yeah.
And how many email sends does that get you a month?
I want to say 200,000.
I can't see what it is.
I think 200,000. I would have to double check. See, usually that's what I have salespeople for. They know all this information.
200,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they know the information, so I can focus on the technical and making the magic happen.
Okay, so that is one way in of licensing. I think that's the best way, because at the end of the day, you're sending emails.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what you're doing. You're sending emails.
Well, that's not
Whereas
necessarily true. Oh, you mean ClickDimensions? I think
yeah,
from a marketing point of view.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so ClickDimensions, the majority of it is based around email sends, but I think the value add and the reason that there's differences in licensing on Dynamics marketing is because of the event management side of things.
Not only,
Because they've heavily invested in
that as well, but also, so I think now Microsoft have partnered with, for example, a company called Infobip, which do a lot of things around mobile marketing. So this is to do with Viber and text messages. So it's not all about email anymore. So with more channels, I feel, at least from Dynamics marketing point of view, you physically can't just have a licensing model that's based on emails.
So can I ask one question before you tell us about the marketing costs?
Yeah.
How much do you get paid every time you mention Infobip?
I get paid nothing, but I just like social media and I like things to come to my phone. So I think that's something people should use more often.
Are they going to send you a hamper next? Is that what it is? Every time you mention somebody 5 times, you click your heels and get a hamper?
Well, last time I got Prosecco. There is nothing wrong
And no
with
carrots.
Prosecco. No carrots, just chocolate.
Right. That
Yeah,
was just
Emma,
me.
that's right. She told them she didn't like carrots when they asked what she wanted in the hamper.
I said I like fresh carrots. I do not like boiled carrots.
Oh, that's what you said. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Who said carrots in a hamper? What the hell is going on here?
They did not say that. They said it's very carrot-free hamper.
All right, Grant.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to send you a hamper. Is there anything you don't like? Boiled carrots.
Well, they asked.
Yeah. So, marketing and license costs going together. How does the model work?
Yeah, so it's a bit different to ClickDimensions. The way it works for us, it is licensed based on the marketing contacts you have in your database. this is not to do with how many contacts you have in your database in total. It's the ones that you engage with in some sort of marketing activity. So yeah, you were right, Mark. It could be events, but it can also be people who have gone on a journey. It could be, which includes all of your custom tiles, which could be text messages or Viber or WhatsApp. Or marketing forms or surveys as well. So purely because of all of those channels, I think it's really important to have a model from a dynamics marketing point of view that's not based only on the emails. The way it works is if you have a certain number of full licenses, you get a reduced price. You get your marketing at a reduced price. You can just get marketing on its own. And something new that has come about within the last few months is a different, if you get an extra sandbox environment you want to test your dynamics marketing on, you can get that at a reduced price as well.
So
Does that
on
kind of answer the question?
So on that, my question would be, I say I've got 100,000 contacts in my CRM system or customer engagement, whatever we call it. I don't know how
or marketing contacts.
Yeah. So then I have 100,000 contacts, but I don't engage with all of them. I only engage with 10 of them on an email, or 100 of them in a text message, or 1,000 elsewhere. I get charged, what is that, retrospectively? So I don't know how much I'm going to get billed until I've done the marketing.
So you would pay for, so if you've got 10 users, you buy a market and attach license that gives you up to 50,000 email contacts, and it's marketable contacts. So it's people who are basically 10,000. They're shafting us now. Okay, you get 10,000.
Okay.
And then you can buy additional bolt-ons for more numbers.
And if you go over, they don't cut off. So let's say you only have 10,000, but you use a bit more, they don't cut you off, but they might be in touch.
Yeah. So if so we talk about it differently then. So we talk about in the customer engagement, I've got 100,000 contacts, but in my marketing, I've got 50%, I've got 50,000. So the contacts are the same contact record or different contact records in CDS?
Well, so when it's the same contact record with a marketing quota flag on it. So when you start using your dynamics marketing, you get zero marketing. You have used up zero marketing contacts, and as you go through journeys, events, whatnot, marketing forms, when you engage with them in different marketing activities, only then the same contact in your CDS gets marked as a marketing contact, and your quota goes down.
Okay.
Okay.
So you need to keep an eye. So you need to keep an eye on the quota.
Yeah, and it's on your.
So you need to know what your quota is and what's going on your homepage. You need to monitor that so that you know fine well when you're hitting that limit, because you can go over the limit. As we say, they won't cut you off, but depending on how much you go over the limit, how long you're over the limit for it, and various other bits of telemetry, Microsoft may be in touch to retrospectively back charge that, etc.
And because it's important to be objective, so another factual thing to consider is you also get, so your marketing contacts quota is per year, so you can't go down within that year. You can go up but not down, and you get 10 times your marketing quota emails a month. So that's just another thing to consider.
Okay.
So I couldn't figure out why that you could only use marketing for Dynamics on an online instance, and I guess that's why they've got to keep track of what contacts you're using, I suppose. Another pro
It's all
to
telemetry
use
data.
ClickDimensions on premise.
There you go. So now that we've gone through both of them very well, very, very eloquently from both of you with good, bad and ugly points, I like that. Malin, if you were a customer, or if you had a customer come to you right now and said to you, I'm looking at a marketing solution, what would your questions be to that customer? And should you ask one to each of Dilyana and Emma?
Oh, I don't think we have time to go through all my questions. That would be a podcast of its own. Because
we do marketing volume 2 next week then.
Yeah. What kind of questions should the companies ask for, and what would Click and Microsoft answer for them? Good. Next week? No, because it all depends. Who are the customer? What size are they? What are they doing? How many marketers do they have? What type of marketing do they do?
Right. So if I was the customer, I am a 500,000 employees. I've got a marketing team of 100 people, and it's just direct emails that I'm sending out. It's just marketing emails.
I would probably go with ClickDimensions.
Me too.
Yep.
And if you were a IT company who do webinars and who do events but do a lot of marketing around them?
If you do webinars, I would still go with Click, because nobody uses the webinar, 124. It is massively big and expensive, and I think 3 companies use it in the US or something stupid like that. So I would probably still go. But if you don't do any webinars and you do heavy event marketing, then I would do Dynamics marketing.
So if you want to
agree with that too.
Event sign up and event management with a marketing twist on it, you would go Dynamics.
Yep, I would.
So I think that's a perfect way to leave it as a 1-all draw. How about that? There's no winner, there's no loser. It's just a platform for everyone. How about that?
I think that's fair enough, because that's probably the right way for it, to be fair. It just depends on what your own requirements are and what you need to look at, and it's up for you to make your own analysis and see how it best fits your business practice.
Yes. So it depends.
Yeah.
Classic consultant response.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you were Norway, not Switzerland. So just as a round off, if everyone just wants to share their social media, where they can find everyone. Dilyana, you're only allowed to share the social media, nothing else. You've got a minute. On you go.
Oh, well, that's nice and easy. And my name is quite easy to remember. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and my blog. And it's all to do with, so my blog is DilyanaRadulova.com. And you can use the same to find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Do you want to spell that out for everyone? Just we will put it in the show notes, but just so that everyone can find it.
I might need to write it down first. So it's DILYANA, and then my surname is RADULOVA. That feels like I'm speaking to a customer service.
It's all good. Ms. Darcy?
Yeah, so Tattooed CRM Girl on the Twitters. My blog is tattooedcrmgirl.com. I'm on Instagram, but it's just cats and plants. I wouldn't bother unless you're interested in those things. And yeah, LinkedIn, I think I'm on as Emma Darcy, Emma Butler, one of my 7 names. I don't know. You'll find me. I'm around.
7 names? There's a whole story behind that as well. That's like
there is. That's a podcast in itself.
I was just going to say that's a whole different podcast, right?
Has there been 7 names?
I have actually got 3 last names. So when I dated a man in the naval intelligence, it made for very interesting background checks. Yeah.
Okay, that's an offline podcast, right? Let's not record that one. And Malin, what about yourself? Where are you at?
I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, and I have my own blog. And the easiest way to find me is just to search Google Malin and Dynamics, because there really aren't anybody else.
You're unique.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Google me is basically what you've just said. How do you find you online? Everyone gives a nice, this is where you find me. Google me. Yeah.
Yes, but I couldn't be bothered to spell my entire name, because my blog and LinkedIn is Malin Donoso Martnes, and nobody can spell my name. They can hardly pronounce it. So Malin Dynamics is the easiest way to find me.
The first thing that comes up for me is a deli in Newark, Delaware. So that doesn't work for me.
That's like one of the whole your XYZ name. If you Google your first name and the images and the second image that comes up of this type of thing, it's like some crazy down with the TikTok kids.
So maybe if you type in Malin Dynamics HR, does that make it any more?
Let's see.
I like how this is like live. Let's work out the best way to find Malin online.
Boom.
like-
First result. You're good.
It's like Challenge Annika. There's not many people that'll be listening that'll understand what Challenge Annika is, right? But it's like Challenge Annika. Can we find Malin? Let's see if we can find her run about. Who does it first?
It's like, where's Wally or where's Waldo? So
I mean, that's with the social separation thing. Where's Waldo's really crap these days, isn't it?
So Emma, could you
Yep.
tell us where to find Malin now then?
Yep. Google Malin Dynamics. What do I do? Malin Dynamics HR. There. Look, 2 letters that Americans won't know what I'm saying, right? HR. Great.
HR. Right, thank you all very much. I think that has been great. That's Emma's Hat Trick Football for our 3rd podcast, our 4th podcast now. We will send you something in the post. No, we won't.
Going to need to give her like some sort of, I don't know, credit somewhere in it, like
I mean,
featuring.
yeah, she's probably talked more than the pair of us over the 3 podcasts than we have in every podcast we've done. So she must get producer credits or something now.
Yeah, she needs to get something. But anyway, thank you very much for coming along and representing the marketing tools that we've got out there. And yeah, rightfully so. We didn't come to have one being better than the other.
Excellent.
Thank you
Thank
so
you all
much for
very
having
much.
us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yes, bye.